Welcome to the WIHS Journal. On the broadcast today, we'll be talking to Deanna Danielle. Well, she has a bunch of different ministries. It's kind of hard to pinpoint one, but on today's broadcast, she'll be elaborating on many of them. Join us next to hear all the details. Well, today in the phone line, we have Deanna Danielle, and she is from Westchester, New York. We're so glad to have her on the phone line today. So she has so many different characteristics about her. She is a mom. She loves doing ministry. She's a woman of prayer. She's an author. She's a big-time blogger, a digital expert, involved with the ministry for families and those struggling with addictions called Love Never Gives Up. And she's also won a Mom's Choice Award. So that's just a little bit of a background on you. I know we've talked maybe 2 years ago. So since the last time we talked, what is new in your faith walk?
Well, first of all, Anissa, thank you so much for having me on to be able to share with you. And actually what's been going on is I have several completed writings and a feature-length dramatic screenplay that I'm looking forward to sharing.
Wow, you have new screenplay, so a writer, and now you're doing movies.
Hoping to have it up there someday.
Yeah. So what inspired you to do something like that?
Well, actually, what had happened was we had gone into watch a play by Chaz Palminteri, and I was just sitting there watching this one-man show, and I thought, well, I could do that. And then before I knew it, I had written 3 one-man shows, 3 short plays, and told a friend about it, and he thought that it was pretty amazing. So he had some questions for me, and through those questions, I had them pondered, and I was going to work one day and fell on some ice and broke my wrist, and his words kind of came back to me, and so I took that short play and ended up turning it into a screenplay because I couldn't work with the broken wrist.
Wow. Isn't it amazing how, I'm sorry that you broke your wrist. I had no idea, but how God just, he says that he works things for good for those who love him. And here you are laid up, and he was using you despite, what happened. So I'm sorry about that, but looking forward to hearing about the screenplays in the future. So also I know that, you're a blogger. You won a Mom's Choice Award. So tell us a little bit about some of your blogs.
So my blogs, actually, I love to write blogs, and I hope that they'll plant seeds of faith and hope and love into life and, bring knowledge about God's love and about his healing touch, and just really share everything that God has really touched me with, just that joy. And I'm hoping that through those blogs that others can feel that. Absolutely.
So do you have a favorite blog? Maybe you can maybe tell our listeners a little bit about how you write.
Well, I think one of my most liked blogs I could see, it's When the Eyes of the Heart is Opened. And I think what I really enjoy about that one blog there, too, is it kind of just talks about our life and how there's just so many pieces, like a puzzle, to our life. And from one day to the next, really just being able to watch as the day unfolds and really just look for God's grace in that day, because sometimes we could think we really have to do something and find ourselves in a different direction and kind of get upset about that. But it's really in that direction that we didn't want to go that we find the greatest pieces to the puzzle in our life. So I think kind of just being open to doors being opened and shut in our life, and recognizing that each and every day is like a new part to the life that God has given to us. And I think when we look at it like that, we don't get kind of caught up in things not kind of going the way we want them to go all the time, but just enjoying the ride of, going in a different direction.
Absolutely. And I got to read some of your stuff, and when I was on your blogs, I saw these videos. I'm like, wow. They were really detailed and just kind of pulled you in with different Bible verses. So do you do that yourself too?
I do, yeah. I had a client in my chair one day, and when I had worked in the Westchester, and she was actually going to the Apple store to take classes, and I was like, they have classes there? And she said, yes. So I went up there to take a look, and I didn't even know how to turn on a computer at the time, and ended up buying a computer and taking these classes, and they taught me how to make film. And so it was really pretty awesome because, being a visual learner, along with the power of music and putting the two things together, it really helped me to take what I was doing in class and, make it more visual for people to see as opposed to just talking. It's easier when I could see something. So that's what I hope, that through those videos that people could really, if they're like myself, more of a visual learner, just get a feel for what I'm trying to share.
I love it. I love, putting God's word visually, that's just, that's profound. I love it. And if you're tuning in right now, this is Deanna Danielle. She is a mom. She's a hairstylist. She's a blogger. She's an author, screenwriter. She does so much. And so switching gears, at the end of the broadcast, we'll give more information about how people can find out more about your blogs. But you also have a ministry, which is awesome, especially when we had that huge opioid epidemic and people were passing away. It was huge. So I know that you have a ministry that's tied up into that. So let's switch gears and talk about that.
Yeah, well, we're the Care Coalition, and our website is lovenevergivesup.com, and we're all about connecting those in need with those who care. We weren't looking to reinvent the wheel, but to help all of those who are out there trying to help others create a place where we can have all of that content in one spot. Because something that I've learned through this whole thing, and I think that, our whole group has learned, is that there's no one cure that works for everybody. Everybody has a different situation. And, with some that are struggling, they need to hit rock bottom, but others need love right to the very end, and to be nurtured, and to hear these different stories and different places of help. To be able to go to one place and to be able to find a whole bunch of different stuff and find the one that's just right for you is basically what our website is all about. We had all gotten together. There's about 14 of us after just losing one too many kids in our community. It just seemed like so many of them were passing away and overdose and suicide. And what we did was, after the last funeral that we were at, we got together, and that night we ended up at my home with a friend of mine who's a producer, and we talked about what could we do. And one of the moms suggested that we did a website, and my friend who's a producer said, I think that whatever you guys do, you have to start with prayer, get to work, and then give God thanks for it. So that's kind of been the foundation of who we are. And the website, my daughter Dominique actually said I could take that on. So she put it together with everybody that was involved. In case you needed hotlines, we have testimonies on there, a whole bunch of different stuff. It's really a wonderful website to visit. It's very clean and easy to navigate, and maybe you don't need it for yourself, but maybe you have a friend who might need the resource, or maybe you want to get involved. And you can get involved in so many ways, just being on our prayer team to pray for all those who even just touch the website, that they can feel God's peace in them through times of struggling, whether it is addiction or anything else. Or maybe you know of a resource that we could add to it. So the website is for everyone to get involved, because it's a directory and a place to connect those in need with those who care.
That's great. So, and are you guys still doing prayer meetings? Because I know that, the COVID has impacted some situations.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't want to stop that. So we were able to just take our Facebook page and our Instagram and go live through Facebook and Instagram, so that people that, no matter where you are, you can definitely worship with us and pray with us. We do it the first Thursday of a month.
So any details that you would like to share with our listeners that I did miss out on today?
Yeah, no, I think that I would just like to share one thing is that God has a plan for each and every one of us. And, as there are many pieces to that puzzle, there are so many of us that are needed in the work of God. And never underestimate what God has given you, because it could be the smallest of things, and in the grand scheme of that puzzle, it could be the greatest piece. So never underestimate what God has given to you. Just use it all and glorify Him. And if the day doesn't go your way, just look up, because it only gets better.
Amen. So share all the details. I know first about your blogs, or if you have details about your books, how can listeners find out more about that?
Pretty much you could just go to DeannaDanielle.com. That's DeannaDanielle.com. And everything is there. You can find right through my website. You can get right to LoveNeverGivesUp.com, that website, as well as the blogs, as the videos, and hair as well.
Okay.
It's all there.
Once again, that was Deanna Danielle talking about her many ministries. One important to her is Love Never Gives Up for those struggling with opioid addiction. For more details about the broadcast, you can give WIHS a call at 860-346-1049. The opinions expressed are those of the participants, not necessarily those of a staff and management of a station. I'm Anissa Porticelli for News and Public Affairs.